Saudi Arabia has done something incredibly shocking. This desert nation, known for its vast, sandy landscapes and scorching temperatures, has been secretly pumping millions of gallons of salt water underground. The result? A complete transformation that defies everything we thought possible in one of the driest regions in the world. This ambitious project has made the impossible a reality, creating an artificial water system in a country that naturally has no rivers. Let's dive into this remarkable feat of engineering and find out how Saudi Arabia is rewriting its destiny by burying water beneath the sand. So, let's dive in. Number 10. Desert nation's desperate water crisis. Saudi Arabia sits in one of the most unforgiving environments on planet Earth, with temperatures regularly soaring past 122 degrees 50 degrees C and annual rainfall barely reaching 4 inches in most regions. Water scarcity has always threatened the kingdom's very existence. The country has 0 natural rivers, no lakes, and extremely limited freshwater sources, a crippling disadvantage for any developing nation. This water shortage crisis once seemed insurmountable, forcing Saudi Arabia to depend heavily on imported water while rationing supplies to its growing population. The severity of this crisis cannot be overstated. Before implementing these innovative solutions, many communities faced daily water restrictions. Citizens would collect their daily water allocations from central distribution points, businesses operated under strict usage guidelines, and agriculture, vital for food security, struggled constantly. The desert environment meant that even the small amount of rain that did fall would quickly evaporate or sink into the parched ground without proper collection systems, leaving nothing for human use. This desperate situation demanded radical thinking. Saudi leadership recognized that conventional water management approaches would never suffice in their unique circumstances. Number 9. Hidden lakes beneath the sands. Contrary to popular belief, Saudi Arabia isn't completely without water resources. They're just hidden from view. Deep beneath the scorching sand lies an estimated 26 trillion gallons of groundwater, stored in natural underground reservoirs called aquifers. These vast subterranean lakes formed thousands of years ago during a period when the Arabian Peninsula experienced a much wetter climate. These ancient water sources, often called fossil water, have remained trapped underground for millennia. Unlike renewable water sources, most of this groundwater doesn't replenish naturally in the current climate conditions. Out of the total 26 trillion gallons, only about 739 billion gallons regenerate annually through limited rainfall, just a tiny fraction of the total reserve. The rest remains effectively non-renewable, a finite resource that, once used, is gone forever. Saudi authorities tap into these underground reservoirs through an extensive network of wells and pumping stations that extract water for distribution to cities, farms, and industrial facilities. Number 8. Dam network capturing every precious drop. Saudi Arabia has constructed an impressive network of 522 dams strategically positioned across the country, an engineering achievement that's rarely highlighted in global media. These structures serve a critical purpose, capturing the scarce rainwater and occasional flash floods that would otherwise disappear into the desert. The system works by intercepting water that briefly flows through wadis, the dry riverbeds that temporarily fill during rare rainfall events. The total storage capacity of these dams reaches a staggering 650 billion gallons, with the Mecca region alone housing 60 dams capable of holding 232 billion gallons. The Hali Dam, located 14 kilometers east of Qayyad in Makkah province, stands as the second largest in the country with approximately 249.86 million cubic meters of reservoir capacity. Built between 2003 and 2009, this structure exemplifies Saudi Arabia's commitment to maximizing every available drop of natural precipitation. These dams perform multiple critical functions beyond simple water storage. They prevent flash floods that could damage infrastructure and threaten lives, provide irrigation water for agriculture, supply local communities, and help recharge groundwater by allowing controlled seepage into underground aquifers. I have a question for you. First, I would like to say that it is possible to follow the greatest curiosities of our world every day. But to do so, you need to be subscribed to our channel. So, are you already subscribed? If not, take the opportunity to subscribe now. Also, take the opportunity to like the video, so YouTube will recommend more videos from our channel, so leave your like right now. And now that you have done that, let's go. Number 7. The Invisible River. Longer than the Nile. The Saudi Water Authority has accomplished something truly revolutionary, creating an artificial underground river system that stretches approximately 8,700 miles, making it longer than the Nile, Earth's longest natural river, which measures about 4,135 miles. This isn't a traditional river with flowing water visible from the surface, but rather an extensive network of massive underground pipelines that transport water from coastal desalination plants to inland cities and communities. What makes this system remarkable is its placement deep beneath the desert surface. Unlike earlier water distribution networks that primarily ran above ground or just below the surface, this new system runs deep underground, protected from the extreme desert conditions. This strategic positioning serves multiple purposes. It shields the water from contamination, prevents evaporation in a region where temperatures regularly exceed 120°, maintains optimal pressure throughout the system, and protects the infrastructure from damage. The construction of this underground river required overcoming extraordinary challenges. Engineers had to cut through the Hejaz Mountains using tunnel boring machines and controlled explosions to blast through dense granite and limestone formations. Number 6. Desalination Dominance. Turning seas into drinking water. Saudi Arabia has emerged as the undisputed global leader in seawater desalination, turning its geographical disadvantage, being surrounded by undrinkable salt water, into a solution for water scarcity. The kingdom's journey from minimal desalination infrastructure in the 1980s to world dominance today represents one of the most ambitious water security programs ever implemented. As of 2024, Saudi Arabia operates 43 desalination facilities along its coastlines, up from just 30 plants in 2011. The crown jewel of this system is the Ras Al Khair station on the eastern coast, recognized by Guinness World Records as the world's largest desalination plant. This massive facility, which cost $7.2 billion to construct, produces an astonishing 792 million gallons of fresh water daily, enough to support millions of residents and industries. Another major plant in Jubail consistently delivers around 201 million gallons per day, further cementing Saudi Arabia's leadership position in this technology. While countries like Israel, Australia, and the UAE have made significant strides in desalination technology, none have matched Saudi Arabia's scale and output. This dominance doesn't come without challenges, however. Number 5. Wastewater Transformation. Second Life Solutions. Beyond tapping underground aquifers and desalinating seawater, Saudi Arabia has developed an extensive wastewater treatment infrastructure that recycles used water for various applications. The country currently operates 99 specialized water treatment facilities that collectively processed 1.3 billion gallons of wastewater daily as of 2019, with projections suggesting this figure will increase by approximately 4% annually until 2050. These treatment plants employ advanced filtration systems, biological processes, and chemical treatments to purify sewage and industrial wastewater, transforming it into water suitable for irrigation, industrial cooling, construction, and even some domestic non-drinking uses. This recycling approach significantly reduces pressure on primary freshwater sources while addressing the environmental concerns associated with wastewater disposal in sensitive desert ecosystems. The treated water plays a crucial role in supporting Saudi Arabia's agricultural sector and urban landscaping initiatives, providing a sustainable water source for crops, parks, and green spaces that would otherwise require precious drinking water. Number 4. The Green Revolution. 10 billion trees in the desert. Saudi Arabia has launched one of the world's most ambitious environmental restoration programs, a massive greening initiative that aims to combat desertification by planting 10 billion trees across the kingdom. This audacious project seeks to transform approximately 184 million acres of land, creating a natural barrier against desert expansion while improving soil fertility, enhancing food security, and dramatically altering the nation's landscape. The initiative extends beyond simple tree planting to encompass comprehensive ecosystem restoration. By strategically selecting native and drought-resistant species, Saudi Arabia is creating sustainable green spaces that require minimal irrigation while providing maximum environmental benefits. These new forests and green corridors act as carbon sinks, wildlife habitats, and natural windbreaks that reduce dust storms and sand encroachment on agricultural land and urban areas. Urban centers like Riyadh and the futuristic Neom City are incorporating extensive green infrastructure into their development plans, creating parks, rooftop gardens, and tree-lined streets that mitigate the urban heat island effect. Number 3. The sustainability shift, rewriting a nation's future. Saudi Arabia's transformation from a water-starved desert kingdom to a leader in innovative water management represents a profound shift in national identity and development strategy. This water revolution parallels the country's broader pivot away from exclusive reliance on oil revenues toward a more diversified and sustainable economic model, as outlined in its Vision 2030 plan. The massive investments in water infrastructure, from the underground river system to desalination plants, dams, and wastewater treatment facilities, demonstrate a long-term commitment to resource security that transcends temporary solutions. By addressing water scarcity through multiple complementary approaches, Saudi Arabia has created redundancy and resilience in its water supply network, reducing vulnerability to any single point of failure. This comprehensive water strategy has enabled continued urbanization, industrial development, and agricultural expansion that would have been impossible under previous conditions. Cities like Riyadh, located far from natural water sources, can now support millions of residents with reliable water service. Industrial zones operate without the strict water rationing that once limited production. Number 2. The economic equation. Water as national security. Saudi Arabia's massive water infrastructure investments reveal a fundamental truth. In desert environments, water transcends being merely a natural resource. It becomes a matter of national security and economic survival. The kingdom has spent hundreds of billions of dollars developing its comprehensive water network, recognizing that without these investments, its very existence as a modern nation would be threatened. The economic calculus behind these projects extends far beyond simple cost-benefit analysis. A cubic meter of desalinated water may cost several times more than the same amount from a natural river or lake. But when no natural sources exist, the comparison becomes meaningless. Saudi decision-makers understand that without water security, other development goals become unattainable. Population centers couldn't expand, industries would relocate, food security would deteriorate, and political stability might ultimately be threatened. This perspective frames water infrastructure not as a luxury, but as essential national infrastructure on par with defense systems or energy production. Number 1. Future challenges. The unfinished water story. Despite its remarkable achievements, in water management, Saudi Arabia faces significant challenges that will test the sustainability of its current approaches. The kingdom's population continues growing rapidly, with projections suggesting it could reach 45 million by 2050, creating ever-increasing demand for limited water resources. Climate change models predict the Arabian Peninsula will experience even higher temperatures and more erratic rainfall patterns in coming decades, potentially reducing natural recharge of aquifers while increasing evaporation rates. The economic and environmental costs of the current water system present ongoing concerns. Desalination plants require enormous energy inputs, contributing to carbon emissions unless powered by renewable sources. The disposal of brine byproduct threatens marine ecosystems along the kingdom's coastlines, and despite conservation efforts, per capita water consumption in Saudi Arabia remains among the highest globally, suggesting significant room for demand-side improvements. Perhaps most concerning is the continued depletion of non-renewable groundwater from ancient aquifers. Current extraction rates far exceed natural replenishment, creating what water experts call a groundwater deficit that grows annually. Even with desalination and water recycling, many Saudi communities and agricultural operations still depend heavily on these finite underground reserves. Transitioning away from this unsustainable reliance represents perhaps the greatest water challenge facing the kingdom. Saudi authorities have initiated research into next-generation water technologies like atmospheric water generation, enhanced aquifer recharge, and even more efficient desalination methods. Now I have a special recommendation for you. Are you seeing this video that is appearing on the screen? Click on it because I'm sure you'll like it. Well, that's it, and until next time, Curious One.